I never thought being my sister's shadow could feel so consuming. My name is Alex, a 21-year-old college student stuck in a life that feels just slightly too small for me. I live in a cozy apartment near campus with my roommate, well, technically Emma, my girlfriend, who's been my anchor and chaos in equal measure. On paper, life looks normal. I attend lectures, study late into the night, and try to keep my secret locked away. But secrets have a way of clawing their way to the surface. I've always admired my sister, Mia. Not in the casual sibling way, the kind you tease on holidays or borrow clothes from, but in a way that made my heart race and my stomach twist when I thought she'd never notice me the way I noticed her. Mia was effortlessly beautiful, magnetic, and mischievous. She had that cheerleader charm that turned heads wherever she went, the kind that made you want to follow her lead, even when you knew it could land you in trouble. And, of course, I always did. Growing up, I had my quirks. Unlike other boys, I found myself fascinated by skirts, makeup, and the delicate sway of a well-fitted dress. At first, it was curiosity, a playful dabble. But over the years, it became a part of me. Hidden behind the doors of my room, I would experiment. Eyeliner that shook my hands with excitement, stockings that made my legs feel alive, and heels that transformed my posture, making me feel like a different person entirely. A person I could never let the world see. Emma knows fragments of my fascination, though I've never fully admitted everything. She laughs when I playfully crossdress at home, calls it my cute obsession, and teases me endlessly. But there's a line she doesn't cross, and neither do I. It's safe within the four walls of our apartment, where the chaos of college life can't reach me. Until Mia appeared. It all started on a Saturday evening, the kind of golden hour where the sunlight spills across the living room, making everything look surreal. Mia texted me, unusually sly. "Hey, Alex, I have a little challenge for you. Don't disappoint me." I froze mid-swipe on my phone, my heart skipping a beat. Mia never called me by name like that without a reason. When she arrived, she wasn't alone. In her hands was the unmistakable sparkle of the cheerleader uniform from last season, the one that had everyone whispering her name in awe. And there I stood, unsure whether to be thrilled or terrified. "Alex," she said, her tone playful but commanding, "I've always wanted a twin. Someone who could match me, move like me, cheer like me, and now, I think it's your turn." I laughed nervously, assuming it was a joke. But the gleam in her eyes told me it wasn't. She wanted me to become her cheerleader twin. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice wavering. "Dress up," she said simply. "We're going to practice together tomorrow. And I want you to be perfect, like me." It was in that moment, standing in my tiny living room with a uniform in my hands, that I felt the old familiar tug of excitement and fear. My secret life, the one I kept carefully hidden, suddenly had a stage. And the kicker? My sister was the director. Mia didn't understand what I'd kept locked away. She had no idea about my late-night experiments with makeup, the hours spent choosing the perfect outfit, or the thrill I felt stepping into heels. To her, this was a playful challenge, a way to have fun. To me, it was the ultimate test of who I was and whether I could hide my desires while becoming someone entirely new. As I tried on the uniform, the fabric clinging to my form, my hands trembled. The skirt was short, the top tight, the pom-poms light, yet brimming with symbolic weight. With each layer, I felt my identity blur slightly, the reflection in the mirror no longer just Alex, but a version of me that craved attention, beauty, and the thrill of transformation. Mia clapped her hands. "Wow, you're unnatural. Look at you, moving like a true cheerleader." I smiled, trying to hide the blush creeping across my cheeks. Inside, every movement, every sway, every flick of the pom-poms sent waves of vulnerability and exhilaration crashing through me. Emma's voice echoed in my mind, "Just keep it fun, Alex. Don't let it take over." But standing there, in full uniform, with Mia's approving gaze, I realized I couldn't stop now. This wasn't just about pretending or playing dress-up, it was about being caught between who I was, who I wanted to be, and how much control I could actually hold over this new, thrilling identity. The evening ended with laughter, playful nudges, and Mia giving me a wink that made my heart race. But as I closed the door behind her, alone in the quiet of our apartment, a shiver ran down my spine. The thrill was intoxicating, yes, but so was the fear. How far would I go to become her twin? Could I really pull off this transformation without losing myself or being discovered? That night, as I lay in bed, the uniform folded neatly on my dresser, I couldn't sleep. Thoughts raced. Reflections of myself in Mia's mirror, of me stepping into her world, of the forbidden excitement swirling with the terror of being caught. It all merged into a dizzying storm. And deep down, a part of me whispered, this was only the beginning. Little did I know, this playful challenge from my sister would pull me into a world of suspense, secrets, and emotional transformation I could never have imagined. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the blinds of our apartment, painting stripes across the floor. My heart was pounding like a drum, half excitement, half dread. Today was the day I would step fully into Mia's world, wearing the cheerleader uniform she had handpicked for me. I stared at it on my dresser, the fabric almost taunting me, as if whispering, "Are you ready?" I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. Emma was asleep, her soft breathing a comforting rhythm in the background. I couldn't let her see me like this, not yet. Not until I understood how far this challenge would take me. The apartment felt smaller somehow, the walls pressing in as if anticipating what was about to happen. Pulling the uniform from the dresser, I ran my fingers over the soft fabric. The skirt felt alien against my thighs, the top snug and structured in ways I wasn't used to. I hesitated, imagining Mia's gaze, the approving smile she'd flash when I moved like her, mirrored her every motion. There was a thrill in that thought, but also a gnawing fear. I undressed quickly, heart hammering, and slipped into the uniform. The skirt sat higher than I expected, brushing against the tops of my legs. The top hugged my chest and shoulders, making me painfully aware of every curve, or lack thereof. I took a deep breath and grabbed the pom-poms. They were light, but felt heavy with the weight of expectation. Standing in front of the mirror, I barely recognized myself. Alex was still there, but layered over him was someone new, someone vibrant, feminine, exposed, and exhilaratingly vulnerable. I swayed experimentally, feeling the skirt flare, the top shift, and the pom-poms spring with movement. My reflection seemed to grin back at me, teasing, daring me to go further. The first step was always the hardest, makeup. I sat at the small vanity Emma, and I shared and unpacked the kit I'd secretly kept hidden for years. Foundation, eyeliner, mascara, blush. Each brushstroke felt like both a liberation and a confession. I tried to keep my hands steady, but every swipe of eyeliner made my pulse spike. I watched my reflection morph, cheekbones sharper, eyes brighter, lips more defined. By the time I was done, I barely recognized the person staring back. "Wow," I whispered, my voice trembling. "Is that me?" A sudden knock at the door made me jump. I spun around, clutching a pom-pom like a shield. Mia's voice called through, "Alex, time to practice. Are you ready?" I froze. Ready? Could I ever be ready for this? My mind raced. The adrenaline surged, making every nerve alive. I opened the door slowly, trying to appear casual, though my knees felt like jelly. Mia's grin was as infectious as ever, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "You look incredible," she said, stepping closer. "I knew you had it in you." I flushed, caught between pride and mortification. She didn't just see me as her brother or even Alex, she saw me as her twin, a reflection of herself. That recognition both thrilled and terrified me. We began with basic routines, stretches, jumps, coordinated steps. Every motion reminded me of how different I felt, lighter in some ways, painfully exposed in others. The uniform clung, the heels pressed against my feet, and my balance wavered. I stumbled once, and Mia caught me effortlessly. "You're perfect," she said, voice soft but teasing. "Just like me. You'll get the hang of it." But inside, I knew perfection was impossible. Every leap, Every cheer, every spin carried a hidden terror. What if Emma walked in? What if someone else saw me? The secret that had been mine alone now felt dangerously public, even in the private intimacy of our living room. As the hours passed, my body began to adapt. My posture shifted naturally, shoulders back, chest out, legs moving in a rhythm that felt both foreign and exhilarating. The skirt swirled around me with each step, the pom-poms adding a dramatic flair to every motion. With every jump and cheer, I felt a strange fusion of empowerment and vulnerability. The thrill of transformation surged through me, making my pulse quicken, my stomach twist, and my mind whirl with possibilities. Lunch was awkward. Mia had packed sandwiches and drinks, watching me eat as if she were studying a living experiment. "You have to keep up your energy, twin," she said playfully. "A true cheerleader needs stamina." I laughed nervously, biting into the sandwich as if it were a lifeline. Every glance she threw my way made me acutely aware of the dual life I was living, Alex in the body I knew, and this new persona, vibrant and exposed, that mirrored Mia perfectly. After lunch, we moved to more complex routines. Partner spins, pyramid formations, synchronized chants. Each exercise demanded not just physical coordination, but emotional courage. The higher we climbed, the more exposed I felt, not just in uniform, but in the emotions I hadn't anticipated. Every cheer carried the weight of performance, every movement a statement of who I was becoming. And then came the internal struggle. Alone in the mirror, I caught a glimpse of myself mid-spin. The reflection stared back, a perfect twin to Mia, hair curled, uniform crisp, makeup flawless. My mind raced. Who am I, really? Is this Alex? Or is this who I've been hiding all along? The thrill and the shame collided. I wanted to vanish, to return to the safe anonymity of my usual self, but a deeper part of me longed to linger in this heightened state of femininity, exhilaration, and attention. The duality was intoxicating and terrifying. The suspense reached a new height when Mia left the apartment for a quick errand. Alone, I felt the freedom to explore further, to push boundaries. I practiced poses in front of the mirror, experimenting with smiles, flips, and stances. Every motion, every sway of the skirt, every flick of the pom-poms made my heart race. The reflection staring back was no longer just Alex or Mia. It was a hybrid, a perfect cheerleader twin, vulnerable and alive in ways I had never known. But then, a sudden knock at the door made my blood run cold. My heart leapt. Emma? A neighbor? I froze mid-spin, pom-poms suspended in the air. "Alex? You in there?" the voice called. I scrambled, pulling the uniform together, adjusting my hair, and hoping the intruder would leave. It was just a neighbor, thankfully, but the scare left me shaking. The thrill of transformation now mingled with fear of exposure, each emotion feeding the other. I realized that this wasn't just about fun or experimentation anymore. This was about survival, secrecy, and the delicate balance of who I truly was versus who I appeared to be. As evening descended, Mia returned. Her eyes sparkled when she saw me mid-practice, the uniform crisp, movements fluid. "You're getting better every minute," she said. And yet, I felt the tension rising inside me. One misstep, one slip of a wig or a high heel, and everything could unravel. The night ended with a final practice session in front of the living room mirror. We cheered, spun, and posed side by side. The mirror reflected not just Mia and me, but the intertwined identities that now existed between us. The duality was thrilling, intoxicating, and terrifying, all at once. As I finally collapsed onto the couch, exhausted, exhilarated, and vulnerable, I realized that this was only the beginning. The thrill of transformation was addictive, but so was the suspense of secrecy. Mia had unknowingly thrown me into a world where identity, desire, and fear collided, and I had no choice but to navigate it. The next day arrived with an unusual tension in the air. Mia had been unusually secretive about today's plans, only giving me cryptic hints. "Just be ready. You'll need every bit of focus, twin." I didn't know what she meant, but the sense of suspense gnawed at me. I dressed carefully, layering the uniform, perfecting my makeup, and stepping gingerly into heels that felt simultaneously empowering and confining. Every step toward the front door made my heart pound. This wasn't a private practice anymore. It was a performance. And I had no idea who might be watching. Emma was asleep, oblivious to the full extent of the transformation I had become. I prayed she wouldn't walk in at the worst possible moment, and for a brief instant, I wondered if keeping secrets was worth the thrill. We arrived at the school gym, where Mia's friends and a few fellow cheerleaders had gathered. My stomach twisted when I realized I was about to perform in front of an audience far larger than I had ever imagined. Every face that turned toward us felt like a test, every pair of eyes a potential judge of the hidden part of me I had been cultivating in private. Mia nudged me, whispering, "Follow my lead, twin. You're perfect. Just stay in sync." The routine began. I jumped, twirled, and cheered, feeling the familiar rush of adrenaline. Every sway of the skirt, every snap of the pom-poms against my hands, made me hyper-aware of the duality I carried. Alex on the inside, this new, polished cheerleader twin on the outside. The audience clapped along, encouraging, unaware of the private secrets I was juggling with every move. And then it happened, the first obstacle. During a high kick, my heel caught slightly on the floor, sending me wobbling. A gasp escaped the crowd, and I froze, panic surging. Mia's hand shot out, steadying me mid-motion. "You're okay," she whispered, her voice calm but urgent. My cheeks burned as I struggled to regain composure, aware that one small slip could shatter the careful image I had built. After that close call, the routine intensified. We moved into synchronized stunts, pyramids, flips, and acrobatics. My nerves were stretched thin. Each time I looked into the mirror-like panels at the back of the gym, I saw not just a reflection of my performance, but a reflection of my hidden self. Alex and the twin persona were fused, and I realized I could no longer separate the two. Then came the twist, the unexpected visitor. Emma, fully awake and smiling awkwardly, appeared at the edge of the gym. She hadn't intended to come, but she had heard from a friend that I was performing. My heart seized. Panic, embarrassment, and fear collided. I froze mid-cheer, the pom-poms dangling limply. Mia noticed immediately. "Alex, smile." Mia whispered sharply, "You've got this." But Emma's gaze was unwavering. She stepped closer, and suddenly I felt the weight of every secret, every transformation, every hidden hour of experimentation pressing down on me. Could I maintain the facade? Could I continue as the cheerleader twin without revealing the depth of my private desires? The pyramid formation began, and I climbed, my hands shaking, knees wobbling. At the top, I was exposed, a perfect twin to Mia in every outward sense, yet inwardly a tempest of fear and exhilaration. I could feel the eyes of the crowd, the looming gaze of Emma, and the steady encouragement of Mia. Then the symbolic moment. My wig, carefully styled to mirror Mia's, slipped slightly, exposing the edge of my natural hairline. A collective gasp rose from the crowd. I froze, heart pounding, fingers trembling as I tried to push it back into place. It was more than a wig, it was the symbol of my dual identity, the delicate barrier between who I was and who the world could see. If it fell completely, everything would unravel. Time seemed to slow. I felt the sweat on my forehead, the tightness of the uniform, and the unsteady pressure of the heels beneath me. One wrong move, and I would collapse, not just physically but emotionally, as my secret life would be laid bare. Mia's hand found mine, steadying me mid-pose. Her eyes locked onto mine, silently urging, "You can do this. You're perfect." I took a deep breath, focusing on rhythm, movement, and the persona I had cultivated. Slowly, carefully, I regained composure, finishing the pyramid with a flourish. The crowd erupted in cheers, unaware of the storm I had just navigated internally. But the danger wasn't over. After the routine, Mia pulled me aside. "You did amazing," she said softly. "But you have to promise me something." It stays between us. No one else can know the truth. I nodded, heart still racing. The secret wasn't just thrilling, it was perilous. Every performance, every transformation could tip the balance between exhilaration and exposure. I realized that being her twin wasn't just about matching her moves or looking the part. It was about navigating a delicate tightrope between desire, fear, and secrecy. As we left the gym, Emma approached, curiosity mixed with admiration. "Alex, you are amazing," she said. My heart raced, and I smiled weakly, hiding the truth behind a carefully measured expression. I was exhilarated, terrified, and profoundly aware of how much had changed in just a single day. Back at the apartment, the adrenaline slowly ebbed, leaving a lingering tremor. I stripped off the uniform, revealing the private Alex underneath. My reflection in the mirror seemed smaller somehow, fragile yet emboldened. I had faced the ultimate test, balancing exposure and exhilaration, and survived, but the stakes had only risen. As I collapsed onto the couch, Mia's earlier words echoed in my mind. "You'll need every bit of focus, twin." I realized that being her cheerleader twin wasn't a fleeting experiment. It was a challenge, a transformation, and a journey into a world of suspense, vulnerability, and emotional intensity one had never imagined. And deep down, I knew, the next time, the stakes would be higher. The risk of exposure, the thrill of transformation, and the delicate dance between Alex and the twin persona would only intensify. The apartment was quiet after the chaos of the day. The uniform lay folded on the dresser, its pristine fabric a reminder of the persona I had worn, the secret I had inhabited, and the exhilaration I had survived. I sank onto the couch, heart still racing, adrenaline slowly ebbing. Every movement I had made today, every cheer and spin, felt like a secret victory, but also a warning. Emma had returned to her room, ostensibly asleep, but I could hear her faint breathing, steady and reassuring. The thought that she might discover the truth at any moment gnawed at me. I had navigated today's challenge, survived the slips, the wig mishap, and the unintentional audience, but tomorrow could bring something even more dangerous. I glanced at the mirror. My reflection stared back, a quiet reminder that Alex and the cheerleader twin were now inseparable. The reflection seemed to smirk knowingly, as if daring me to take the next step. Part of me longed to linger in that identity, to explore the thrilling freedom it offered, while another part trembled at the thought of being fully exposed. Then my phone buzzed. A message from Mia. "Tomorrow, practice is at the stadium. Be ready. The twins are going public." Public. The word struck like lightning. My chest tightened, my stomach turned over. Public. I whispered to myself, the sound barely audible. The thought of performing in front of an entire crowd, all eyes on me, was exhilarating and terrifying. I had survived private exposure. Could I survive the public? Panic and excitement intertwined. I imagined the crowd, the stadium lights glaring down, and the roar of cheers. My uniform would be scrutinized, my movements analyzed. And most terrifying of all, Emma, or someone else, might finally see the full truth of who I had become. I sank lower into the couch, trying to calm myself. My mind raced. Could I do it? Would I survive? Or would this be the moment everything came crashing down? The thrill of transformation warred with the fear of exposure, creating a storm of emotion I couldn't untangle. Suddenly, a soft knock echoed from the living room. My heart jumped. Who could it be at this hour? My hands trembled as I reached for the door, slowly peeking through the crack. No one was there, just a folded envelope lying on the floor. I picked it up, heart pounding. Inside was a single note, written in Mia's unmistakable handwriting. "Tonight, think about what it means to be my twin. Tomorrow, everyone will see you as I see you. Are you ready to become the version of yourself no one else knows exists?" The words burned into my mind. Ready? Was I ready? I wasn't sure. I had transformed, adapted, and survived every challenge so far, but this was different. The stakes had risen. The secret I had protected, the identity I had embraced, was now teetering on the edge of revelation. I collapsed back onto the couch, panting, my mind a whirlwind of fear, excitement, and anticipation. My reflection in the mirror caught my eye again, Alex staring back at me, yet altered, layered with the persona Mia had crafted. A part of me thrilled at the thought of becoming fully immersed in this new identity, while another part trembled, unsure if I could navigate the dangerous path ahead. And then, a shadow moved across the apartment window. My pulse spiked. Was it Emma? A neighbor? Someone else? I froze, breath shallow, the uniform and wig I had carefully hidden now seeming more like a trap than a costume. The city lights flickered outside, the apartment suddenly feeling smaller, more confining. My mind raced with possibilities, with fears, with fantasies of what could happen if my secret were revealed tomorrow. I couldn't predict how Emma would react, how Mia would guide me, or what the audience might think. I clenched my fists, whispering to the reflection, "I'll do it. I'll survive. But how far can I go?" The envelope lay beside me, a silent challenge. Tomorrow, everything would change. The thrill of transformation, the fear of exposure, and the precarious balance between Alex and the cheerleader twin would collide. And as I stared into the mirror one last time before the night swallowed the apartment, I knew one thing for certain. My life was no longer just my own. The door creaked slightly, and a faint voice echoed from the hallway. I tensed, heart hammering. Was it Emma? Mia? Or something else entirely? And then silence. The reflection in the mirror smiled, a knowing, almost mischievous smile, and I realized that the next chapter would push me further than I had ever imagined. Would I survive the public gaze? Would my secret be exposed? Or would I finally embrace the version of myself I had been hiding all along? The answer hung in the air, unresolved, as the screen fades to black, leaving the audience suspended in anticipation.